Shaolin monks have long harbored a dark secret, a mystery that has remained under lock and key for thousands of years. Since they emerged from the shadows of ancient times, no foe, no matter how skilled, has been able to take down a Shaolin monk, leaving everyone wondering how such a breed of men could even exist. In this video, we will take you on an exclusive journey into the lives of Shaolin monks, as we unveil secrets that have been locked for centuries. This is why no one can beat a Shaolin monk. Number 10. Years of dedicated training. Shaolin monks are often viewed as demigods capable of feats that would make the ordinary man shudder. From poking holes into trees with their bare fingers to breaking sticks, bricks, and even iron bars atop their head, these highly trained fighting machines excel beyond the normal human capabilities. However, Shaolin monks are just as human as every single one of us. But with years of dedicated training, they've been able to transform their bodies into the ultimate form. They bang their heads against stone walls to harden their skulls, knife scrape their stomachs to strengthen their core, and engage in other forms of rigorous training from their very childhood. Since everything Shaolin monks do appears effortless and painless, their remarkable acts are frequently dismissed as mere stunts, fabrications, or hoaxes, while on the other side of the spectrum there are those who exalt them as gods, divine beings endowed with supernatural powers beyond the reach of any normal human. But in reality, Shaolin monks put in years of hard work, patience, dedication, and perseverance. Over the course of decades, these monks engage in rigorous activities which strengthen their bodies and help harness their internal energy. As we delve into the thrilling world of Shaolin monks, we are introduced to a lifetime commitment to self-development, a journey which begins at a very young age. Unveiling some rudimental training every Shaolin monk engages in will help facilitate a better understanding of their larger-than-life persona. First, there's the finger punching, a brutal training process that's introduced to a Shaolin monk at a very young age. Young disciples are required to poke trees and wood planks with their bare fingers in a bid to strengthen one of their most potent weapons, their fingers. As the training progresses even further, they graduate to hard strikes, putting their bodies to the very limit. Through hours of pain and frustration, young Shaolin students develop the muscles on every finger on both hands, transforming them into weapons of decapacitation, capable of dealing untold damage on the adversaries in combat situations. To further train their fingers, young Shaolin monks take on even more difficult techniques. This includes the infamous diamond finger, also known as the one-finger handstand, a daunting task for even the most seasoned Shaolin warrior. But that's not all. To strengthen their hands in battle, Shaolin monks also engage in other rigorous exercises. There's the daunting practice of driving large nails into a wood plank and removing them, all with their fingers. As the disciple becomes more seasoned in this activity, the stakes are stacked even higher. A more advanced version of this training involves sprinkling the nails with water and leaving them to rust. Imagine pulling out 1,000 rusted nails with just bare fingers. Such feats prepare the Shaolin monks for the worst of situations, making them extremely versatile and basically unconquerable. Some master Shaolin warriors have trained their hands so much so that they can achieve this grueling feat using just 2 or 1 single finger. In combat, such an exercise allows Shaolin warriors to perform excellent locks with 3 fingers on their opponent's most vulnerable spots. Number 9. History of Shaolin Kung Fu. While the history of Chinese martial arts dates back to at least 2674 BC, Shaolin Kung Fu was introduced around 527 AD. According to historians, the practice originated from an Indian monk by the name of Bodhidharma, following his arrival at the Shaolin Temple in the Henan province of ancient China. Bodhidharma, whose sole purpose had been to spread the concept of Chan Buddhism, quickly branched out into this physical form of training. This was after he noticed that the learned monks were physically unfit. In a bid to help them overcome this weakness, he introduced a series of exercises through 2 books, the Yin Gin Ching and the Shi Qin Ching. While it is uncertain whether the story of Bodhidharma is real or a legend, it remains the only traceable root of Shaolin Kung Fu. Over time, the fighting monks learned to adapt the moves they had gleaned from Bodhidharma into the early version of Shaolin Kung Fu, which eventually developed into other rudimentary forms of the martial art. As their fighting prowess developed further, so did their role in protecting the territories of China. In times of war, political leaders would call upon these fierce fighters as the only reliable line of offense and defense, and the fame of the Shaolin warriors grew in leaps and bounds. One famous example involves the Emperor Tai Tsung, whose son was forcefully taken by his archenemy, General Wang Shi-chung. According to legend, 13 monks were assigned to the military by the Shaolin Temple. With these capable hands on deck, not only was the king able to retrieve his son, but he also shamefully defeated the general, who had previously threatened fire and brimstone. As a reward, these 13 monks were given 600 acres of land, and their main temple in Henan was given the title Number 1 Temple. The history of ancient China is filled with stories of valiant deeds and unparalleled achievements by these monks. They fought to defend kingdoms, battled superior forces, and their fame spread like wildfire through the regions of China and beyond. Over the course of their rich history, Shaolin monks have honed their skills to dangerous levels, and no adversary has ever been able to stamp out the culture or its people. Even though there isn't any ancient war to fight anymore, the Shaolin temples around the world continue to instill these aged philosophies and practices in anyone willing to tread the path of Shaolin. Number 8. Strategy over strength. On the outside, men with brute strength, toned bodies, and intimidating biceps present an image of unrivaled strength. But after seeing many mighty men fall at the hands of these highly trained Shaolin warriors, it's safe to say superiority isn't about brute strength. As a principle, the Shaolin monk focuses on strategy in combat situations rather than physical strength, while monks also focus on developing their physical strength to be able to deliver powerful strikes. More emphasis is placed on precision, speed, and skill. With long and monotonous work, arduous and unrelenting training, monks are able to transform into agile fighters, able to tackle any opponent no matter how physically dominating they may appear. Shaolin monks also train to attain increased endurance, as well as the ability to distribute the force of their strikes. All Shaolin techniques are based on the natural movement of the body. Therefore, monks are tasked with memorizing hundreds of different techniques. Each movement is repeated 100 times and more, until it becomes second nature. Shaolin monks also spend a ton of time perfecting the coordination between joints. This includes the palms and feet coordination, knees to elbow, and the shoulder to thigh. This well-guarded secret ensures effective execution, ensuring that each strike is delivered with maximum accuracy and precision. To achieve this perfect balance, monks engage in several stretching exercises, training every part of their body to work together in a harmonic dance of power and beauty. Shaolin Kung Fu training includes fist techniques, grabs, throws, sweeps, and a chain of gymnastic exercises known as Taolu. While many Shaolin athletes may not appear physically intimidating, their strength and agility remain unparalleled. These highly skilled fighters understand how best to deliver a powerful strike to achieve the maximum effect on the opponent's body. One vital mantra of the Shaolin system is learn the form, forget the form. Monks depend heavily on repetition as the most effective learning tool. By practicing these sequences and movements until they flow like water, Shaolin fighters are able to ensure proper coordination, a factor that can turn the tides of battle in combat situations. Another indispensable Shaolin strategy is to anticipate the enemy's next move. This is one of the most difficult skills for any Shaolin fighter. In martial arts, trainings often focus on feeling the opponent, understanding their fighting strategy, and countering every strike with an even deadlier strike. Anticipating the next move means having a plan and adjusting based on whatever the opponent throws at you. Then there's the place of alignment and intent, which helps translate seemingly useless fighting skills into tools of decimation. With full power, sharp movements, and body positioning, strategy gets translated to real technique through practice and different training methods. Shaolin monks not only see the vision behind every technique, they feel it, and train themselves to utilize those deadly strikes practiced in secret against any threat. Consistency also plays a huge role in a Shaolin monk's routine. By practicing a skill hundreds of times over and over, these brutal fighters are able to deliver with unmatched effect, dealing heavy blows with just seemingly tiny taps. With this impressive repertoire of skills, Shaolin monks never back down from a fight, no matter how physically dominant the opponents may be, because true strength lies on the inside. Number 7. Impossible training methods. Ever wondered why Shaolin monks are considered undefeatable? The answer lies in the extreme set of processes they put their bodies through. From the aforementioned nail-pulling technique to gravity-defying stunts, Shaolin warriors stretch the very limits of their bodies in the journey to total transformation. Waking up as early as 5:30 every morning, Shaolin monks delve into a world of rigorous training and painful exercises. While on their morning and evening strolls, young monks are required to kick small rocks with their bare feet, an essential training for their feet. As their muscles strengthen, they graduate onto larger stones, increasing the force intensity of their strikes. This process rests on the Shaolin principle, which emphasizes the need to go from simple to complicated. From striking small boulders to kicking larger stones to a distance, Shaolin monks train their feet to deliver maximum damage to the opponent's frame. In combat situations, this technique allows the warriors to tip and throw their opponents with a single hardened kick aimed at the lower part of the body. According to Shaolin texts, a monk should be able to throw an opponent as far as he can kick a stone. But if you thought this technique was brutal, Shaolin monks also engage in a strenuous exercise known as the Bao Shu Gong or Milli Gong. This exercise trains the arms, chest, and stomach muscles to develop the flows of the inner force. Monks are required to select a tree, wrap their arms around, and then try to pull it out from its roots. This exercise is repeated several times a day, every single day. After the first year of rigorous training, the results should begin to show. As soon as the arms, chest, and stomach muscles attain a level of strength, the monk should be able to shake the trunk until some of the leaves begin to fall. After several years of training, many Shaolin monks are able to uproot fully grown trees and lift their entire weight with their bare arms. Imagine such a warrior clasping an opponent with both arms during a combat situation. The result would be quite devastating and can even be fatal in some cases. Then, of course, there's the Tai Tu Gong or the Iron Head exercise. This particular routine focuses on increasing the strength of the head muscles and the skull. Shaolin students would wrap their heads with a layer of silk before hitting it against the wall a few times, every single day. At first, it starts gently to avoid brain injury, but as time passes by, the hits become more intense. Such a brutal exercise aims to harden the top of the head, the forehead, and the back of the head. This strange practice also strengthens the skin, muscles, and bones. Beyond the physical benefits, such a rigorous training exercise also helps to harness the student's internal force and qi. After the first year of training, the layers of fabric begin to peel off every 100 days. By the second stage of training, they come off immediately and the student continues with their bare head. They also branch out the practice by sleeping in headstand positions, knocking their skulls together, and also trying to crumple stone slabs. Over the course of many years, the bones in the skull get reshaped under the pressure, adapting to the extreme conditions being exerted. Some other similar exercises are also employed to strengthen the temples, eyes, nose, and mouth until the entire head transforms into a literal stone. Number 6. Martial arts versatility. At the heart of Shaolin Kung Fu is the principle of versatility, which allows Shaolin masters to blend seamlessly into the battlefield. Unlike many forms of martial arts which focus on a straight-line approach, Shaolin features an all-encompassing approach. This ensures that Shaolin masters are capable of defending against all forms of attacks, using the vast array of tactics and strategies at their disposal. Shaolin monks develop a set of basic skills, which includes both bare-hand forms and weapons forms. However, it is worthy of note that no single Shaolin master is capable of mastering all forms of Shaolin Kung Fu. While some styles are better suited for big physical size, others focus on internal strength and ability. For example, the King Kong hammers and tiger fists fit the strong and big guys, while other techniques are better suited for monks with smaller frames. Basically, there are 4 major Shaolin techniques. This includes hitting, kicking, wrestling, and grabbing. As we explore deeper into the world of Shaolin training, we unravel an ancient system that prioritizes a holistic approach. A complex system will include all 4 types of applications, although each style differs in their training focus. For example, while most northern styles emphasize kicking, southern styles of Shaolin Kung Fu have earned a reputation for their intricate hand techniques. However, despite the speciality often employed by these different factions, every Shaolin monk aims to develop every available weapon in their arsenal, making them very versatile and dangerous on the battlefield. There are Shui Jiao practitioners famed for their full-body, close-range techniques, as well as the eagle claw fighters, noted for their chin na expertise. Shaolin is a perfect cocktail mix of differing but equally dangerous techniques. The Shaolin Kwang forms, for example, focuses on the fist and feature several dangerous techniques. There's the Shaolin Da Hong Quan, or the Big Hong Fist, the Xiao Hong Chuan, or Small Hand Fist. While the latter focuses on simple and plain attacks with deadly force, the Big Hong Fist is capable of knocking down any opponent with unexpected tricky moves, often regarded as distillation in Shaolin martial arts. Then there are the infamous 5 animal kung fu forms. These techniques are not just named after animals, but also played like animals. Shaolin monks admire nature and often glean their basic principles from these natural elements. There's the crane techniques, the dragon, tiger, monkey, and snake. Combining these deadly techniques together makes the Shaolin monk practically unbeatable, earning them their godlike reputation and status. Before we go on with the rest of the video, here's our subscribers' pick for today. Feast your eyes on this alluring spectacle of a monk, soaring high above other monks gathered around. Although scenes of levitating monks have been limited to the big screens and movies that only depict imaginative fantasies, some monks have been able to attain this level of consciousness in real life. This Shaolin monk, through years of training, has been able to harness the power of his body, spirit, and soul, so much so that he transcends the physical limitations of the human body, soaring far and high like a bird. This is why no one can beat a Shaolin monk. Imagine warring against an opponent capable of defying gravity. Sounds like a losing battle, right? Which of these astounding facts about Shaolin monks blew your mind the most? Let us know in the comments section below. Now let's get back to the video. Number 5. Extensive weapons training. Beyond hand-to-hand combat, Shaolin monks also master several weapons as part of their training processes. Although every Shaolin master understands that the body is the greatest weapon, having an extra tool on the battlefield can sometimes be vital in combat situations. Exploring the arsenal of Shaolin monks introduces us to some uniquely crafted blades and spears capable of unleashing terror on the enemies. There's the Dao Shu, also known as the broadsword, a prominent short-bladed weapon used throughout China. This single-edged curved blade is capable of delivering vigorous attacks on the enemy, especially in the hands of a skilled Shaolin master. The sword also functions effectively in defensive situations. Mastering the use of a broadsword entails wrapping and entwining techniques, with relentless hacking, uppercutting, slashing, thrusting, and blocking techniques. Using such a weapon also requires great strength and coordination between the warrior's body and the weapon. Another fascinating weapon in the Shaolin monk's arsenal is the Jianshu, or the straight sword. Famed as the most widely practiced short-bladed weapon in Chinese history, the Jianshu is a double-edged, straight-bladed sword. In the hands of a Shaolin master, this fascinating weapon delivers a graceful, elegant, brisk, and naturally flowing motion. The practice focuses on the harmonious balance between hard and soft Shaolin techniques, with variable and flexible changes in speed. Primary techniques employed in the use of the Jianshu include thrusting, pointing, tilting, and sweeping, combined with excellent footwork and flexible bodywork. But the father of all Shaolin weapons remains the gun shu, or the stick. The long cudgel is fast-paced and focuses on far-reaching sweeping techniques. The use of the spear requires unity between the body and the weapon. The spear has to become an extra limb, an extension of the Shaolin master's very own body. This allows for graceful movements both during exhibitions and in combat situations. Apart from these main types of weapons, Shaolin Kung Fu also employs other unconventional weapons. This includes rope darts, shovels, double hooks, moon forks, grass sickle, hammer, Qian Kun wheel, double tiger head hooks, shepherd whip, and a host of other fascinating items. Number 4. The Philosophy of Nonaggression. Although Shaolin monks are some of the most strategically advanced martial artists in the world, a moral code sets them apart from everyone else in their league. This stringent principle of nonviolence necessitates that the monk must never be the aggressor in any confrontation. Instead, the unique skill set he has developed over time must only be used as a defensive measure. To be a true martial artist is not only about learning fighting skills, rather the greatest warriors understand the importance of controlling their ego, instincts, and thoughts. The lengths a Shaolin monk reaches in his martial artistry is nothing if he cannot bring the strength of his mind at the same level as his body. The mind, in fact, must be more powerful than the body, capable of keeping the weaponry under a heavy restraint. When it comes to violence, Shaolin monks find solace in a legendary and ancient rule of the temple. The first time a monk is attacked, by principle, he is required to refrain from reacting. Although he shall not utter a word, he is permitted to resist or dodge the attack, protecting himself from mortal danger. If the attacker persists a second time, the Shaolin monk must continue to refrain from an aggressive response. Instead, he must warn the aggressor of the consequences ahead. However, if the attacker launches a third offensive, the Shaolin monk is permitted to unleash the required force to counter the attack and put up a defensive front. To withstand more attacks without fighting back is equal to putting the value of his integrity above his own life. And although the Shaolin principle preaches non-aggressive resolution to conflicts, sometimes a show of force can be necessary. Many Shaolin monks have refused to take up arms under any circumstances, even when refusing such an order would lead to their own death. The Shaolin Code requires that the monks only use their skills in self-defense and refrain from intimidations and unprovoked attacks. By building up his internal strength as much as his external strength, the Shaolin monk is able to gracefully breeze away from tense situations without causing a ruckus. Unlike other non-enlightened men, Shaolin monks are not moved by pride, anger, or the need to prove themselves to anyone. Instead, they stand atop a lotus pedestal, rising above every provocation and basically immune to temptation. This moral system ensures that the power embedded in a monk isn't used for evil or as a tool in the hands of political puppeteers. Number 3. Meditation and mental strength. One key focus of the Shaolin training process is the development of the mind. Beyond building muscles, mastering powerful weapons, and transforming the body into an arsenal, Shaolin monks spend a great deal of time training their internal being. Hundreds of years ago, these spectacular beings discovered the power of meditation. And since then, the journey to self-discovery and mastery has become ingrained into the very curriculum of Shaolin training. Taking a trip through the lifestyle of a Shaolin monk will expose the secrets of their bravery and power. Shaolin monks practice both sitting and standing meditation techniques in the Chan Buddhist tradition. One key focus of these meditative practices is to cultivate the peaceful energy known as qi. This energy can be harnessed through hours of regular meditation. The energy flowing through the body gets purified during this process, making both the mind and the body healthier and stronger. The Shaolin monks understand that the soul of a man is like a muscle. It can be trained and transformed into a weapon, pushing the monk into a double-dimensioned state, where power comes both from within and without. Meditation also allows the monk to attain inner peace, even in the midst of turmoil. This ensures that even in the middle of combat, monks remain emotionless, driven only by the skills they've perfected over time. Anger, pride, or fear is non-existent in a monk's vocabulary, and he achieves and maintains this state by constant meditation. No wonder they are so undefeatable. Number 2. A life of discipline. At the root of every successful endeavor is discipline. Every Shaolin master understands the secrets of personal restraints and consistent discipline, and applies it both in their daily lives and martial arts practice. With discipline, Shaolin masters are able to attain a level of self-control most people can only dream of. Before they are able to run over water, break bricks with their bare hands, and shatter metal poles in pieces, Shaolin monks practice day in, day out, unmoved by pain or discomfort. Discipline is the drive that motivates every Shaolin monk. According to their philosophy, desires and wants are secondary, while responsibility and necessity inform every decision. The Shaolin Temple is more than just a fighting school. It also doubles as a place of learning and enlightenment, where the third eye is opened and man can attain a higher level of consciousness. Mastering any form of martial art isn't an easy feat. Even the most determined can fall by the wayside when the going gets tough. But from the cradle, Shaolin monks are taught to stand firm and remain resolute in spite of personal discomforts. To reach the most profound calm in the essence of life, fire and action form the fuel, and the tranquility of being comes after the hurricane of the senses. Shi Shu Yan, the 30th generation tiger of Shaolin Temple, summarizes this philosophy in these iconic words: "Train tirelessly to defeat the greatest enemy, yourself, and to discover the greatest master, yourself." Number 1. Understanding of human anatomy. Every Shaolin master possesses an in-depth understanding of human anatomy, a skill that helps fight against the most formidable of foes. Like a skilled warrior, monks know where to strike in an opponent's body, so as to deliver the strongest force. With this knowledge, they have developed a set of techniques capable of decapitating the enemy with simple strikes. For the Shaolin warrior, it's not about fighting hard, but fighting smart. Imagine being able to deliver the power of 10 heavy blows with just a finger push. This is the realm where the Shaolin monks function from. Shaolin training often includes an in-depth study of pressure points, weak spots, and perfect places to launch an attack on the enemy's body. Armed with this knowledge, fights are fought with more confidence, and strikes are delivered with more precision. However, the masters of Shaolin Kung Fu also understand that in combat situations, not every strike will be well delivered. However, the same level of power is usually instilled in every single strike, so when it hits, maximum damage can be guaranteed.